Thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Malik. We'd like to thank everybody who listens and watches this show. Please don't forget to follow us at convoswithmalik.com, convoswithmalik.com. There you will find all our social media links. We're on Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify. Check us out on YouTube, Conversations with Malik, Facebook page, and Instagram at ConWMalik. And, before I start today's show, I would be remiss if I didn't, first of all, give a shout out and thoughts and prayers to all of the people who are literally sacrificing their lives to fight this virus, the nurses, the doctors. Listen, even the janitors. Let's show the janitors some love. They're in the hospital cleaning and sweeping and wiping things down. So their job is just as important too. And even the cooks, everybody in the hospitals, all the healthcare workers, all of the essential workers, shout out to all of y'all. And also, I've lost people personally as a result of the coronavirus, and I know others have lost people dear to them. I haven't lost anybody in my immediate family, but my thoughts and prayers to everybody who are really, really struggling during these times. And so, listen, I'm always blessed and honored when I can get anybody on the show, and here we have a returning guest, ex-NFL football player, my brother Sean James. How you doing, man?
Good. Great to see you, Malik. Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, and listen, I'm a fan of yours since the time you came on the show. I've been a fan. I've been following you. I comment. You are, and I'm generally, from brother to brother. There's times that you put something up that I needed to hear that and see that at that time. So I want to thank you for being you.
Well, dude, you never know what impact that you have, and sometimes, I use a lot of the social mediums for myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that I was actually doing it for others, but once I started to really be honest with myself, I posted things that make me feel good. And if you
Mm-hmm.
have the ability to make you feel good and it can impact someone else, that's what it's really all about. And let me just ditto back to you. I mean, I think the things that you're doing since I've met you and everyone that you've interviewed, I'm inspired and aspire to inspire more people because, we have to use times like this to be able to motivate people. And what we got to realize is motivation is part of the factor, but it's like taking baths, right? Baths don't last forever.
Mm-hmm.
You got to take one every day. So every time I hear something that can motivate me through the day, I
Mm-hmm.
try to use that to impact others. So I appreciate that you even read my stuff. I think sometimes people just, click on the photo and I try to connect the dots. But I just feel like wisdom comes with age and time and experience. And I feel that there's so many young people out there that I wish I had their platform when I was 25 with the things that they're able to do. And sometimes I feel like they're not taking advantage of that.
Yes, because it's crazy. They can reach the world, and we couldn't reach the world
Exactly.
at that age, And but how are you? Before we get into some more inspirational stuff and some politics and some different things, how are you? How are you doing? How are you and your family? How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I think I'm someone that's always believed in diversity.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is I think when people hear that word, they immediately associate it with race and creed and sexual orientation.
Mm.
Um, so I've always been someone that wants to redefine that word in business. Diversity for me is really being able to have tools and access to technology in ways that business moves, right? And you're seeing right now the companies that are not set up for that diversity, that never thought it was important, that never evolved, are hurting right now.
Mm.
So what I mean by that is what we're doing right now, Zoom. Like 5 years ago, this didn't exist.
Right.
So we need to realize that our diversity, even people that are our age, that we accept the fact that things change. People evolve, companies evolve, technology evolve. I mean, we have the ability now, even in New York State, where they passed a policy where you can actually write legal documents over the internet, where that didn't exist 2 weeks ago. So as quick as this has allowed us to change and think about the things that we forgot about, like human connection, being able to touch and talk to one another, we took those things for granted, right? It used to be a thing where when you went to go visit your grandma, it was a thing of greatness. Now it's almost good just to send your grandma some groceries and say hi to her from afar is a thing of greatness, because you don't want to get her sick.
Right.
So I've been able to kind of readjust how I look at business for my day to day. From the personal level, you know, my parents live in Kansas, and they're in their 70s, and my grandmother is 97. She's in an old folks home, and they've locked that down. But I think for me, what it's done for me on the sense of just pausing and really reflecting of how we've kind of forgot about one another. And I think we talk about it a lot, but we don't really sincerely understand what that means. And this has only been 4 weeks. You know, what are we going to look like in month 2?
Yeah.
Right. You're going to start to see a lot of people, you know, fighting crisis management. What are you set up? Are you doing the things that are beyond toilet paper and water? Do you have the ability to be able to pay your bills? Things of that nature. So for me, I've just always I've always been an optimist, and I try to find the good. And when I do find myself setting and pacing in my mind, I think about how good I do have it. I have a shelter, I have homes, I have people like you that want to talk to me. I'm blessed. So I can't thank, you know, the people that I know and the friends that have supported me, and people like yourself that are actually still, you know, doing what they have to do to pass time. And more importantly, what are you doing during this time that you can impact your own life? I see so many people that aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Right? Shame on you.
Yeah.
Shame on you. Like, you should be doing something. I don't care if it's a wellness plan, eating better, you know, doing push-ups, something to impact your life that you said, hey, for 2 months or 3 months, I was able to find a new skill set or better skill set that I had.
Right. Exactly. and I know you're a workout guy and you're into health and wellness and fitness. What are you doing to try to keep your body physically fit?
Dude, the first week, I was going through, like, I guess, calm. And honestly, my time, and you know, I'm 51, and it's probably the most dedicated thing. I have levels of fitness that I've been on, in the sense of, you know, when I was a model, I did things a little bit different. But just like being able to go to the gym and see people that you know, and kind of be in your headspace for an hour and a half, 2 hours, someone takes that away from you.
I know.
It's tough. So it's been tough for me. Week
Oh.
2, I was lucky enough to figure out that Peloton was delivering bikes.
Okay.
And I've always wanted one, but I've always felt like home equipment was something that ends up being things that you throw clothes on after a while.
Yeah.
I never was a guy that really worked out at home, but I
Right.
got one of those, and that's been able to kind of get my body moving. I try to go outside a little bit at a time. I don't really go anywhere, but I live right across the street from Central Park.
Gotcha.
And then I do push-ups. Last week I did 100 push-ups every day, so I did 700 push-ups. So now I got to switch it up and do something else.
Yeah, because the body gets bored so quick. So look, I got you probably can't see it, but I got the total gym. Matter of fact, it's right here. So
Nice.
This was in the basement.
Nice.
Collecting dust, and I went down and got it. And yo, I know it's a Chuck Norris. Like, you know, you think of Chuck Norris when you think of that. But
Yeah,
it works, Sean.
I bet.
Yeah.
I think because now we're forced, there is no alternative. And I think when there was an alternative, we're like, I'll use it a couple days. But now you're forced to use it, like, yo, this thing does work. So I think it's patience with this stuff.
Because you know what? I miss talking shit at the gym. Arguing with motherfuckers, you know, from politics to sports.
Yeah.
you know, there's certain people that know me at the gym and they be like old timers, they be waiting to see me, you know, like, you know, if they had a prediction on a game and they predicted it right and I was wrong, you know, they just be waiting. So I miss the camaraderie, like the fellowshipping at the gym, you know, but you know, so my thing to you is, what is, and I'm asking everybody this, some people have conspiracy theories, some people have, they different. What is your whole take on this coronavirus thing?
I try not to buy into conspiracy theories, but I think I work in wealth management. And I think just being able to understand how the top 1% or the top 20% work, there are always theories thrown out. You know, at the end of the day, we have to always think, you know, other than God, who is pulling the strings on how things work in the world, right? You know, is this something that, you know, was a product of creating a vaccine? And then you have all the vaccine people that are like, you know, that's a conspiracy. It's a way to control you. There's so many theories that I try not to buy into.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put anything out there that I really don't believe. I think about them because I am a gray thinker. I live in the gray. So I'm always thinking about things that possibly could be controlling the narrative. But I think, you know, one of the greatest quotes I've ever heard is that we all came over here on different ships, but we're all in the same boat right now.
Right.
It'd be different if it was just affecting poor people in America, but it also killed people all over the world.
Right.
And I do think the numbers are being fudged. I think that a lot of people that, you know, we're talking about African American community and Spanish Latino community, it's exposing that we don't live a healthier lifestyle than we should.
Yes.
Right. My mother has diabetes and she's also had a heart attack.
Gotcha.
So when we start to think about numbers, and I look at numbers all day, I'm a finance guy, right? If I told you, you know, 45 people committed suicide yesterday, that wouldn't affect anybody, right? Unless you've actually had someone commit suicide in your family or a friend. You know, 15 people were shot last night. I can go on and on of numbers. So I think when when the coronavirus started, I think people that were diabetics, had heart failure, were dealing with asthma, anything to do with, you know, our lung capacity and being able to breathe. This corona is attacking them on a way higher scale than people that are healthy. And I think that we really need to understand healthy does not mean age. There's a big difference between being healthy and you know, they're saying now if you're under 50, you're okay. That's not true. I don't believe that. I believe that there's a lot of people that are young people that aren't healthy and it's attacking them in the same way. But yeah, numbers don't lie. The elderly are going to definitely be someone that's immune system is not built up to be able to sustain this disease or this virus per se, to understand that these are the people that are dying. And so there's many things that I could go into, but for me, I truly believe that I try not to think about those things. I read, I get my information, fact check. I go to, you know, websites that are credible. And when doctors don't know the theory and they don't have the answers, who am I or any critic on ABC or NBC or CNN say that they have the answers? We don't know. And I think that's what's really got all of us locked up because we don't know. And I think once we do know, I'm a New Yorker. I'm going to tell you right now, I preach kindness. I preach manners. I preach on how you talk to people, your energy, and how you present yourself to people. It's going to be a problem. People are already kind of like, yo, get away from me. It used to be like, God bless you. Now people are on the bus like, yo, man, I ain't trying to play that today. So we literally live on top of each other.
Yes.
I think people in the country say that, but I live in a 5-story building. Like, I'm on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
People live on top of me.
Yeah.
Our city is shoulder to shoulder. So once this thing is over, and I think the real strategy and the real complications are going to be regional. I think certain cities are going to open up before other cities. I think because of the transportation and how New Yorkers live and the capacity and the area, it's going to be a bigger issue on just how to interact with one another.
Yeah.
Someone not having a mask, it's almost like you're shamed now because if you don't wear a mask.
Yeah.
And I always said, man, Michael Jackson, we used to laugh at him, man, but Michael was on the corona before anybody.
What is time?
We ain't laughing at Michael now.
We're laughing at Michael now. And you know what? You think we're going to get a football season?
I don't know, because, every day the so-called experts are changing their narrative. They're like, we're going to get the one guy, I can't think of his name, the doctor that I really like.
Dr. Fauci.
Yeah. He's like, we should get our summers back. And that's where I've stuck to that word. He's changed it a couple times, but I'm like, if we can get June and July, we might have a chance, because training camp starts in July.
Right.
And we're, guys have missed OTAs, the draft. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening right now where you have a lot of athletes, especially pro athletes and Division I collegiate athletes. They're training all year long. So everyone's going to be a little rusty, but it isn't just one team. It's every team. So everything should be fair. I want to be optimistic and say, yes, we'll get it. I want to think that this thing will be done in the middle of the summer. I think that we'll probably have to go to June to really have some type of answers. And if there's medication, to be able to level the curve where people aren't getting other people sick. And I think that first they'll definitely want to get people to get back to work first, and then they'll start talking about sports. But I think the UFC is already saying they're going to start without crowds. So I think once someone does it, it always takes the guy that starts before everybody follows. Like the NBA started, right? The NBA started it and everyone else stopped.
That's exactly. So the NCAA called the tournament. That they were the first to cancel things. The NCAA tournament, they were like the first. Then, other leagues started doing it, and so I think the same thing is going to happen the other way. That somebody's going to step out and say, "Hey, man, we're having this," and then another organization is going to go, and then MLB, and then it's going to trickle. How it trickled out, I think it's going to trickle back in.
Yeah.
People just got to get the stomach for it.
I want to say this. I think too, we got to make sure that when those things do roll out, how involved will the government be to be able to say no, right? Because once the government comes in and says, hey, you know what? You guys can do X, Y, and Z, but you can't have fans. Who's to say that I wouldn't mind watching a UFC fight with no fans? I mean, if I'm in my living room, I still watch it, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would. Now, NFL, Major League Baseball,
a little different.
For some reason, the fans is what makes it like the raw and come on, you played.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate drug. It's something about them yelling and the pain on their face but I don't know. So another question for you. How do you think our leadership has handled this?
I mean, I'm going to say this. I think I've never been happy with the leadership's vernacular.
Okay.
I hate to throw any president under the bus. I don't think it's his fault. I think I'm just someone, man. I mean, just before I even answer the question, I think people need to know this. Take a day without blaming anyone for your shit, right? Personally, like, how hard is that to do? I made a commitment like 2 weeks ago not to blame anybody for anything. It
Okay.
was the hardest thing ever to do, right? Oh man, why did you got to catch yourself, right? And we become a society of blaming, is it red? Is it blue? Is it the Republicans or a Democrat? Is it my
Right.
mama or is it my grandma? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to blame anyone for this. I think, so I don't want to throw Donald Trump under the bus for this. I do think that he's never been a guy that really had the cadence and the vernacular to be able to address certain things in a way that I'm used to, in the sense of leadership and how to address things in a way of, calling it the China virus.
Mm-hmm.
I think it becomes a blame thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't think that he's someone that likes to be blamed for anything.
No
Um,
doubt. Yeah,
but
because he's never done anything wrong his whole life.
right. But I do think we have leaders that are around the country that are stepping up to the plate. I think
Mm-hmm.
Cuomo has done a great job.
Oh my goodness.
And I think that's when real leadership has been able to kind of, rise to the top, is when things like this happen, right? You want Kobe and Michael and LeBron to have the ball at the end of the game,
Yeah.
right? They might have went 0 for 10 the entire game. But in clutch, that's when you want them to have it, because they're the true leaders and they're okay, taking one on the chin, right?
Yes.
They're okay if we lose, it was my fault.
Yes.
And those are the leaders that are able to make mistakes and be able to address tough situations and, rise above, the things that are happening. So I don't think that it's been great. I think that we could have been a little bit more prepared
Mm-hmm.
for it. But who am I to say that? I don't work in government. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's very easy to blame.
Mm-hmm.
But I
Mm-hmm.
think, what are we going to do now? I think it's really, I think so many people focus on what's already done.
Mm-hmm.
And, I have a saying that it fucks with your neck when you look back. So I don't care about what happened 2 weeks ago. What are we doing now? And I think leadership in many different sectors are stepping up. I think, we're lucky we have New York State Governor Cuomo, who I think has been someone that has done a very good job of just
Very.
addressing it and making people feel safe. Because this is really about, we're all in this together, right? In New York at 7 o'clock, everyone sticks their head out their window. They
Mm-hmm.
hit pots for the healthcare workers, right? To let them know how much we care about them and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And 9/11 was kind of the same thing. You had people that didn't talk to one another start to kind of communicate and
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit more, have more empathy for one another. And I think that's really what I'm seeing with Cuomo. He's being able to address people, to give them the safety net of just saying, hey, we're going to get through this, be calm, be patient, and we'll figure this out.
Yeah, I think the silver lining is that uh 4 years from now, there's somebody that I think Cuomo could run for president, and I think he would just smash. I think he would just smash everybody because he's on the world stage. Everybody knows what's going on here in New York, and he has literally handled this so cerebral. Like, I didn't notice about him until now.
Mm-hmm.
Just his, just his delivery. And my family has always been like Cuomo fans. My father was president of the Teamsters Union. He has pictures with, with Cuomo and stuff. Cuomo's father,
Right.
and and what was his name? Mario? He was Mario Cuomo, the father.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And
there's pedigree there.
good pedigree.
Yeah,
And
all
so,
the government, all of them are attorneys. His little brother's on CNN.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Yeah, I mean, the intellectual properties have always been there, but I think for the most part, Italian Americans that kind of understand what diversity is and understand intellectual properties, they have all the things that make up good people that kind of think about everyone. So yeah, I mean, he definitely, as a lot of politicians shine in bad times like this, has been put on the stage to be able to say, hey, this is a guy that might be able to lead the country down the road.
down the road. I heard he doesn't want it. He keeps getting asked, and he's just like, no way. I don't want to be president. But sometimes when certain people come to you and say, yo, listen, man,
Yeah.
we need you to run, buddy. So, we'll see what happens. one last thing before we close out, man. What tips could you give to people right now during these times? What suggestions would you have for people like yourself who we're in
Yeah.
the woods, is stay at home, and I kind of came up with this little saying this morning. Uh, we're in a stay at home order, but it's not stay the same order. So
Right.
so let's come out of this different than what we were. But so how do we do that? So what tips would you have for people during these times, man?
I actually, I'm a thinker, man. I'm a daydreamer. I'm a night dreamer. I'm a Pisces, man. I'm always like, my dad was like, John, what are you doing over there? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. Um, so
You're
I
somewhere else, right?
actually have, if people want to get, pen and paper down, I actually wrote down 10 tips for myself for self quarantining, and then I'll go into the financial part of it. But I
Okay.
wrote down: learn a new skill, make a schedule, stick to it, catch up with any kind of reading that you do, if it's online, if it's the paper, if it's a book. Update your resume. Some people haven't done that because a lot of people are going to come back to no jobs. The job market's going to change. We don't know when the job market is going to be back. Um,
Gotcha.
um, the big one is reassess your budget. I think people now can kind of see money that they spent. I'm a Starbucks guy. Like, I've saved $200 in a month on Starbucks.
Yeah.
Right, that was like one of my pleasures. It's $5, $6. Sometimes, and when I'm in the office, I buy someone a Starbucks. It's $10.
Yeah, me too.
These are the kind of things that you can kind of sit down and look at. Organize your email. Make over your workspace. Change it up. Move your desk around. Right.
Hmm.
Give yourself another vision to look at.
Hmm.
Grow your social media accounts. Um, and I don't mean by numbers, by quality of people. Right.
Mm.
Like, I have a friends list right on my social media, and some people I don't know. And the people that I do know, I categorize them. You're in one of my favorites. So I can look at people that I know I have access to, that if I need something from, or they're part of my brand, I have them in categories. 'Cause
Mm.
you ain't doing anything else. Um, Relax and meditate, something that I've never done. I've With this Peloton, they have different things that you can do beside the bike, stretching, things like that. Um, and then what do I have for? Start listening to a podcast. Start listening to you, Malik,
Ah.
right? And then I think I just want to say this to people. Um, I follow enough culture on my social media that I'm never too far from wealth, and I'm never too far from hood, right? I want to make sure that I know what's going on both sides. But the memes that I've seen through the culture, Black culture, is what they're going to do with their stimulus check, or what they're going to do with this check
Mm.
Donald Trump's getting. Let me just say this:
Mm.
for the haves and the have-nots, some of these people that have nots, hey, do whatever you need to do to keep afloat. But I have to say this for the haves, the people that have jobs. Maybe they have a savings account. Maybe they know they're going to get a job, or maybe that their boss continue to pay them during this time of need, right? You going out and spending that 1,200, 1,600, whatever you might get, you're going to regret it.
Mm.
That you put that to the side. Make sure that you know that this might come back again,
Mm.
that this virus could be a recall, could come back and jump on us, in the winter of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure that you are smart with this money that you're about to get. Because I see so many people, we're going to spend, I can't wait for my check to come in.
Mm-hmm.
People, this is not, it's your money.
Right.
It ain't the president's money. It's your money.
Right.
It's you and I, it's the taxpayers' money. It's our
Right.
money.
Right.
We're just recirculating this money. And be
Exactly.
smart about that. And I hope that, I had something that I put on my Instagram maybe a month ago, right when this happened. that we reflect. You know, Kobe's still gone, right? Kobe lost his daughter.
Mm.
Um, Pause and think about what that impact, even if you did not know Kobe Bryant, what it did to us collectively, right? It was almost a setup for this.
Yes.
That's why I said Kobe finally had his conversation with God, and God said, "What do you think I need to do?" And Kobe was like, "Put the world on pause.
Mm.
Make them go home and be with their families and think about the good that they have in their life."
Mm.
We all need one another. We
Yes.
cannot survive without one another. I
Mm.
can't make money without other people,
Mm.
right? So my life is irrelevant. All the superficial things that I think I need or I want, or how I live or where I live, the car I drive, means nothing if I don't have people.
Mm.
So be smart in the way that you uh, look at this. And what I've also thought is it's a very easy way to get lazy, right? I find myself getting mad when I have to go somewhere or get on a call. And I'm thinking, man, this is what happens when people don't work,
Yeah, man.
right? It's very easy just to get comfortable and be
Yeah.
like, is someone gonna give me some money? Because I don't want to get up.
Yeah. I
Don't
know.
be that. You know, do your jump squats, do push-ups, you know, work on your immune system, you know, over OD on vitamin C, drink a lot of water, you know, echinacea, all types of different things that you need to just make sure that you're healthy. Get some fresh air. If you can get a steam, take care of your skin, do something,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, I'm trying to, you know, do every little thing that I can, and then I dedicate when I can watch Netflix. Because I'll sit around and wake up, man, eat my breakfast, and I'll be on TV. I'll be watching TV 2 or 3 hours before I got a Zoom meeting. So it's important that we don't get caught up into that. And I still try to treat weekends like weekends, because for a second or third week, I was like, man, I don't know what day it is.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah.
I know. I know, brother.
So that
And
would be my advice in the sense of just like what I'm doing for myself, and hopefully that list.
mm,
Some of them are corny because they're things that I would never write down, but they're relevant.
yes.
Clean your, like, I'm a clean freak. Reorganize your drawers, throw things out, give things to people that you need. You know, clean your garage if you have one, clean your basement. You know, look at old photo albums. You know, do whatever you need to do to kind of clean out something and get a task done every single day. I think is really a go-to if you just don't know what you're doing, or you don't want to work on a skill set, right? Find something to do around the house.
Yeah. Well, you know, we're about to me and my family, we're going down into the boiler room comes tomorrow. And I'm like dreading going down in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's gonna be like the real serious project. And I gotta clean. So up in there in the studio above there, there's a storage area. And it's like,
Yeah.
so forget about it. So yeah, and you know, this is the time to do these things, and I really like to thank you for coming on. Thank you for being authentically you. Thank you for just adding value to my life day in day out as I follow you on social media, and you know, and I'm doing these shows. I've done a bunch of interviews this week, and I'm gonna be putting them up and putting them out so that could people could see that, you know, we can make it through this. We can endure. And we're one of the fortunate ones. Like, I didn't lose anybody in my house.
Right.
There's people who lost a loved one as a result of this virus who lived in the house with them. A friend of mine's good brother from Jamaica, Queens, Jermaine Miller, he passed from COVID, and 2 weeks later, his mother passed from it.
Yeah.
And the brother was my age, man. A good brother, staple in the community, runs a basketball training program. So, you know, shout out to the Millers. I grew up with them all my life. So, you know, I also understand that there's families that are devastated and rocked as a result of this. So I'm not making light of that. We're just coming on this show just to let people know that, listen, there is hope. We don't stop living for the dead. That's what my mother told me, old Southern saying. We don't stop living for the dead. We continue living on in their memories. And And listen, man, I'm just blessed and
Let
fortunate.
me say this, man, because I think you tapped on something that just brought a thought to my head.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I've always defined entitlement was, you know, being able to have the things that others don't have, but more importantly, those beliefs and those things that you have don't affect you until it happens to you.
Mm.
So it's a very interesting when you talk about people losing people, right?
Mm.
The impact of what that does to them, it changes them, right? Because it's their entitlement is being able. It's not going to affect me. It's not my problem. Is entitlement, right? I don't. If it doesn't affect me, it's not my problem. Um, and I think once you identify, like you said, you know someone that has died from it. It changes the way that you look at life, and what is the message, right? We can look at this from a negative perspective, or we can do what your mom said, right? Let's live for those people that have passed on.
Yes.
Let's live for Kobe Bryant, and let's live for all the people that are dealing with this on a daily basis that don't know, right? Um, their immune systems are not well. They're battling, asthma. They're battling diabetes. These people are the ones that literally could be taken away like that with this
Mm.
disease. So we have to be proactive and do the things to protect ourselves from them. Because what I did learn from people that do have it is it wants you to, it wants to take you, and you have to fight back. You have to be able to get out of bed and open up your lungs, because it sets in your lungs. And once you can't breathe, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
So I am no medical expert, but the people that I do know that have had it, that have fought it, the respiratory part of it is get up, breathe, do the things that you're not supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Lift your arms, lift your hands up over your head.
I just got off the phone with a friend of mine just before he called me, right before we supposed to log on. He was in the hospital with it, and he's recovering, and he's doing so much better.
Yeah.
So, and it was like a little touch and go for a second, but he's doing good.
So don't let this thing, like, if you're feeling sick, do the things that you're supposed to do, but also be active. It wants you to lay down. It's kind of like, you remember how your mom used to break a fever? The old school, they used to wrap you in blankets and stuff. Like, that's being proactive.
Remember they used to put the thermometer up your butt?
Everything, right?
Yo, the thermometer.
But I do believe that that's being active. Like, you got to break it. Like, you have to be able to get air into your lungs and do the things that you need to do versus laying down and dying. And don't get me wrong. If you're sick and you can't do those things, yeah. But I think my suggestion to people that I know, they're attacking it versus laying down for it. Don't lay down, attack it.
Don't lay down. Don't lay down, man. It's funny, man. I just thought about the thermometer. I was sick, and my mother literally put some Vaseline, and I was like, oh, these kids got it easy nowadays,
easy, right?
But listen, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Always, man. Anytime, Malik. Anytime I can be a part of your show, I love talking to you just on a personal level, and if we can share stories to maybe inspire others, as you inspire me, I'm all for it, man. So I appreciate you, and God bless your family, man, and take care of yourself. Be safe out there.
Yeah, I will, man. And when this kind of breaks and when we get back out there, I'll hit you up and come out to the city.
I'd love to come out again.
Or I'll come out there, man, and we chop it up, hang out or something.
Maybe I'll come out there and make sure that you got that boiler room taken care of in that attic.
Just to check to see if I really did it, right?
Yeah, make sure you did that.
Yeah, I'm talking shit on the camera.
Maybe we'll do the show in the boiler room. We'll call it the boiler room episode.
Yeah, if we can stand in there. Yo, man,
right, brother.
Out, man.
Take care.
All right. Later. Oh, God.